And the photos are largely not in situ. There are some in situ photos, like at the beginning of each chapter and scattered throughout. But by and large, the images are actually removed from their background, or the subjects are removed from their background. That is something that, the Kaufman Guide to North American Insects by Eric Eaton and Ken Kaufman does that. I think that that's very useful. I like the appearance of that. So we wanted to follow that. But one thing that we really consciously tried to do is, most of the time, books that do that remove the subject via post-processing techniques from the background. And that doesn't always make for the best looking image, to be perfectly honest.
And it's not as easy to highlight a character that might be useful for identifying the species. So if you can really light the subject up really well in a white box, then you can more easily be able to see the characters you want to see.
Yeah, so we took the strategy of trying to photograph as many of these species as possible in a controlled studio situation, where we were photographing them on white to begin with. It really, you can control your lighting, you get a lot more detail, as Kendra says, and I think that shows, and I hope that will be obvious to people. We also tried to really maximize the size of the images on these plates as well, reducing the amount of white space. One of the things that I hate about various field guides at times is when space is wasted, whether if it's an in situ photograph and the subject is in the middle or wherever, but there's a whole bunch of background included with it. Why not crop in on that? For the images that are on white, we really worked hard to maximize the size of those on the plates, but with not making them so busy. Trying to find that happy medium.
But you will see antennae overlapping and maybe some legs overlapping, and if we have the different variations of a species, like the different color variations of a species, we'll also have those maybe like overlapping, like three on top of one another, so you can just easily see and compare how different they can be.
Yeah, see the variation, but not taking up space to duplicate every little thing with it. So I think we hope that users will find it visually pleasing and impactful. That was certainly part of our goal.
And then each order was organized. So when you get to an chapter, on the left, there'll be an in situ image of that group, and then just some natural history about the order. And then on the right, we have various characteristics that are used to identify the species.
We tried to, make a book that's got new and novel information compared to other resources that are either out there or have been out there in the past. So, some examples include like the Socodia. I don't think any field guide, these are the bark lice and book lice. I don't think any field guide, goes into the amount of detail that we do with these. They're a very common group of insects.
And we kind of fell in love with them while we were doing this.
Absolutely, yeah.
A friend of ours would actually send us specimens. Oh, can't help.
Shout out to Diane Young. Thank you.
She would send us specimens in the mail, and then we would photograph them in the white box. Wing venation is very important, especially getting to the species level, and so that I found very challenging because there were 3 different publications on wing venation, and none of them had all of the characters in them. So there was a lot of merging of different papers to try and get an entire wing venation.
We also, another chapter, I guess, that stands out in my mind in kind of a similar way are the walking sticks. And we found, Texas has more walking sticks than any other state. A lot of diversity there. Diapharamera is a common genus, and some of those can be quite tricky to separate. So we wanted to try to provide a good resource for doing that.